Joining me now, Sheriff David Clarke, America's Sheriff. Sheriff, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, John.
Well, what does the president have to say tonight? We're bleeding our kids out over the debacle with the Epstein files. Everybody knows that. I've been saying it for weeks. The immigration thing, we basically had an unconditional negotiated surrender in Minneapolis. That's turned south on us. What's the president's message tonight, Sheriff? How do we turn the corner and win the midterms?
I don't know. We're expecting miracles to be made. The biggest impediment on the Trump administration right now, President Trump, the second term, is the GOP in Congress and the federal courts. If the GOP Congress, and that's a big if, would get off their rear ends and start doing something, we need to see action out of the control that we gave them, we the voters, we the people. And if we could somehow figure out a way to get the federal courts out of the way, and that's probably a steeper climb to do that. I think they're exceeding their authority. So, we some of this is picking nits. You look at a thing over here, a thing over there. Bondi said this. I don't expect that much out of this government. Here's what I want my government to do: protect my borders, stay away from my guns, and stop spending all this money that we don't have. All right, that's not a big ask, those three things. Other than that, I want the government to stay out of the way. So, to sit up here and I'm hearing a lot of negativity, and there's a lot to be negative about. I get that. There's plenty to be negative about. But if we could just somehow get back to more of a limited government, I'd be happy. I think most people would be happy. We're expecting the government to fix everything, all these things that are mentioned. Government doesn't fix all these things. And in a lot of instances, they can't fix these things. The president he can't just like wave a wand and then have stuff happen. Every time he makes a move, some federal judge, a district court judge, gets in the way and prohibits him from doing it. So what is he supposed to do other than, and I think, and I've been calling for this for quite some time, he's going to have to stand up to the judiciary and put them back in their place.
How does he do that?
Well, when they come out with some of these orders that they don't have the authority to do, especially on immigration, these deportation cases, they don't have any authority to delve into that. At some point, he's got to look at the courts and come out with some goofy order and just defy it.
I mean, I agree with you. What I would love them to do tonight. They're not going to do it, but I would love them to do and say, well, look, Supreme Court gave me no direction on the $200 billion I got in with the tariff. So here's what I'm going to do. Every working American that's got a family income under $120,000, I'm going to take all the money, I'm going to divide it up and send out a check. And then Wall Street can sue you. Good luck. You can sue each one of you individually to get the $2,000 back. Go ahead and sue the American worker. It's their money. I would love for him to say that tonight and go ahead and do that, because that's really what this thing is, right? That's how you defy them. And the other thing is, Sheriff, it was 45 minutes after this thing went down on Friday that he called a press conference, went into the briefing room, and basically shoved it up their butt. And, they shut the window, and he basically kicked in the door and said, I'm just going to a 15% global tariff. Screw you. And you can't stop it because that's the law.
Well,
right?
John, they'll still try. And I don't mean the Supreme Court. Some federal district judge will try to defy it. You look at this other order here on immigration, where some court ordered the DHS to return like 150 illegal aliens back into the United States. Just tell them to go suck an egg and say, you want those 150 back, you go get them, you line up the flights, and you bring them back, because we're not going to bring people back into this country that shouldn't be in this country.
Yeah. It's like you and what army, right?
Exactly.
I'm kind of with you here, Sheriff, on this. I've been thinking about this. A good convo. I've been thinking about this. That why not just say no? I'm not going to do that. No. Like I'm not returning the money. No. I'm not going to ship 150,000 back. No. You want to do it? Go ahead and do it. I like the fact that he said, this will be tied up in court for the next 60 months, 5 years or whatever. I would rather they just give the money to the people. I mean, and then what do you do? Right? Then they have it. They spent it. It's just, but I agree with you. I think everybody is just looking for like defiance here. Don't you? I mean, I think you nailed it.
And
We're
there's
sick of it.
nothing wrong with that. The founders set up this system of co-equal branches for that sort of thing to go on. The pulling and tugging, it's called. We've all heard that. We're not seeing too much pulling and tugging here. What we're seeing too much of is just adherence and obedience to federal courts, for heaven's sakes. Those are unelected people whose role is limited, number one. And number two, it's supposed to be co-equal. So then why do they have the final say? If we give them the final say on too much of this, then they're not co-equal anymore. The judiciary is the superior branch in our three branches of government. That's not what the founders set up.
I agree with you 100%. I agree 100%. It's not what the founders set up. And I think defiance now, and this is the other thing we're grappling with, Sheriff, and this is real going into the midterms. It's we can't get out our base. I had a call last night where we're trying to put something together for this referendum catastrophe in Virginia, and one of the executives on the phone was saying the Democrats in Virginia got out 87% of Harris voters in the election, 87%. The Republicans got out 52% of Trump voters. I mean, you can't win. 52%. Half of them came out. You're going to get annihilated. So what do we do? How do we get Trump voters to re-engage in these midterms, or we stand a wipeout if we don't get them engaged? How do we do that, Sheriff?
Well, getting out the vote is the prerogative of the RNC, the Republican Party, even at the state level, the state GOPs, and they've historically done a horrible job at being able, at a ground game, to be able to get out the vote. One of the reasons why it's easier for Democrats to get their voters out, they keep them angry. Our voting base right now is depressed. We need to turn them angry. Angry voters are motivated voters. Angry voters are more likely to come out. It was the angry voter that put Trump in office the first time and put him in office the second time. So some kind of way, the Republican Party, either nationally or at the state level, has to turn this depressed state into anger, because angry voters will come out and vote.
How do we do that?
Well, you take some of these issues that people are depressed about and you gin it up. Okay, I mean, people are asking, you're asking me, and I know that's just for this conversation. This isn't my job to turn out the base. This is my job to get out the vote. You have people, especially these lobby groups and these consultants, who are paid millions of dollars for advice. Nobody's paying me for advice. Why should I give it to them? I'll sell it to them because, and how do I know? Because I had to get my base out to vote in a county of 1 million people. To vote for me for sheriff 4 times, I had to energize and motivate my base. So I've done it. But, I'm not going to sit up here and do what's supposed to be done by the Republican Party, hauling in millions of dollars in donations and paying consultants, but they don't want to pay me. Doesn't work like that, John.
You should start up Sheriff Clarke Consulting LLC, baby. Let's go. That's what you should be doing. Get a little jack here. There, but they keep hiring the consultants. I love Republican consultants, right? The more races they lose, the more money they make. I've never.
Right.
It's a reverse capitalistic system. You keep losing, you keep making more money. Except Chris Lasavita, he's not in that. He's not in that boat. Either is Corey Lewandowski because he won that Louisiana governor's race. So let me ask you this, and then I know you got to go. I got two questions. We'll get to the Blue Devils question in a moment. I know you're going to be happy. So let me get to this question. So I got a family member calls me the other day, and family member's male, and family member says, "I want to be a DC cop. I visited there, you guys. I love what you're doing. I love the city. I want to be a DC cop. And then I want to, I've got an education. Then I want to be a detective. I want to contribute. I want to be part of a good thing. I want to protect the capital city." And he said, "What do you think about that?" If he asked you that, what would be your answer?
Well, I have to be honest with him. Now's not the time, especially in DC, for heaven's sakes, to get into local policing. But if he's got the education that he says he has, he's got to have a 4-year degree. I'd go the federal route, one of the federal agencies, and there's plenty of those. You don't have to just go ICE, but you can go FBI, you can go DEA, any number of federal agencies, and because there's more opportunity, number one, and you have a little more support, political support with the federal agencies other than DHS right now. But the local policing, I couldn't in good faith tell them to go that route. It's just a perilous time for local cops.
Mm-hmm. Understood. Okay, let's talk about your Blue Devils. Oh my, they look pretty formidable. Who's going to beat him in this tournament? I mean, you got to be excited about the kind of basketball they're playing now, Sheriff.
Well, one thing they showed me Saturday when they beat Michigan, I didn't think they were going to beat Michigan because of the brand of their talent, the Wolverines, and then the brand of basketball they play in the Big Ten, which is very rough and physical. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think Duke would be able to match, and they did. They showed me true grit, and I was very encouraged by that. It's a long way to go, but you ask who can beat them in this tournament? Anybody. And these tournament games are a different animal, but they seem to at least be building some momentum heading into the tournament. Being named number one doesn't mean much to me. I know it does to students. It might to some alumni and a few fans, but I hope that the players don't pay any attention to that because it means nothing at this period of time. You just got to keep your head down. You got to keep playing good, aggressive basketball. One of the things that concerns me about this team, though, John, they have no spot up shooters, consistent shooters that can hit a jump shot. And that could hurt in a tight game when you need a big shot. And they got basically one shooter, and it's Isaiah Evans, and he's a streak shooter. So when he goes cold, if they don't keep the game below 70, it will become very difficult. If it gets into an up and down the court game with a high flying team that scores a lot, they could be in trouble. But they have what it takes to go deep in the tournament, one game at a time. The biggest thing right now is Notre Dame tonight. Yeah, Notre Dame's under 500, and they got a bunch of injuries, but those are the kind of teams that can knock you off. They'll come in wanting to beat the number one team so they can storm the court and make their season off of beating Duke.
Sheriff Clarke, I like Duke to win the whole thing. What I saw Saturday was like, wow, that was
Impressive.
that was a wow for me. I didn't bet the game. What's interesting, when I don't bet the game, you watch it differently. I just figured that out after 68 years. Like, I didn't bet the game. I bet an earlier game that I won at Arizona, I took on the road over the Cougars plus 5.5 to win the whole game. So I didn't bet the game. I was just watching it. And it's like, you watch it differently because you have no interest in it other than, who's playing well. But I really didn't think they'd win that game. And same thing. I mean, they were more physical than I thought. I think this is a very special team. They're very well coached. They're also smart. That's the other thing. You go to Duke, Don't forget that, right? These kids are smart kids, so they got great basketball knowledge. Sheriff, great to have you with us. You can follow Sheriff Clarke very easily at what's your Twitter handle again?
At Sheriff Clarke, Clarke with an E. All the social medias are at Sheriff Clarke. That's the handle.
All right, and you can also go to americasheriff.com. Sheriff, thanks for being with us.
My
As
pleasure.
always, love to have you.